What are you doing right now as you hear this? Not theoretically. Now. This second. There's attention happening. There's understanding. But look closer. Isn't there also a subtle vigilance? Someone checking if you're understanding correctly? If you're present enough? And when you notice this and try to relax that vigilance, who's trying to relax? The controller trying to stop controlling. The observer trying to stop observing. The reaction trying not to react. Robert Adams spent decades pointing to this trap. He said something that sounds simple, but dismantles everything. The only spiritual life you need is to not react. But when you try not to react, who's trying? The attempt not to react is another reaction. More subtle, more spiritual, but still effort. And this circular movement the mind makes, trying to escape itself, is what keeps everything in place. It's late, you're lying down, should be sleeping, but the thoughts won't stop. Then comes the spiritual instruction you learned. Just observe, don't engage, let thoughts pass like clouds. You try, you stay there observing, noting each thought that arises, not following the stories, just seeing. And maybe it works for a moment. Thoughts slow down. The mind decelerates. But then you notice. The observer is rigid, holding something, making effort to just observe. There's tension in the observing, vigilance in the presence, and the more you try to relax this, the tenser it gets. Because who's trying to relax is what's tense. Robert Adams saw this clearly. He said, stop reacting to your thoughts, your body, even your own reactions. Stop reacting to your reactions. But how? If you try to stop, you're reacting to the reacting. If you observe, the observer is just another movement of the same restless mind. So what? Most spiritual practices teach you to cultivate the witness, develop the observer, create distance between you and your thoughts, you and your emotions. And it works, sort of. The explosions stop. The collapses decrease. You become more composed, calmer, more centered. But underneath, someone's on duty, monitoring, adjusting, making sure the calm holds. And that someone, what you call the witness, the observer, consciousness, is tense, working, dividing experience between what can be felt and what needs to be controlled. Robert Adams points to something most never see. He says, when you observe your thoughts, don't judge them, don't fight them, just see, but not the kind of seeing you've been practicing, not someone observing something, just seeing, without observer, without effort holding it in place. The spiritual self, the one who meditates, who observes, who doesn't react, is just the ego with quieter footsteps, still the same restlessness, just doing it more subtly. You didn't transcend the reactivity. You just made it acceptable, gave it a spiritual name. Maybe this is the hardest part to see. What you've been cultivating all this time, the witness, the aware one, the centered one, isn't free. It's just another form of the same seeking. You didn't leave the stream. You created a calmer current within it and mistook it for the shore. Robert Adams says, the greatest truth is to exclude, not to add. Empty yourself completely. But you can't empty yourself through effort. What tries to empty is the fullness. What tries to let go is still gripping. just gripping the idea of letting go. And if you can't try, and you can't not try, where does that leave you? Nowhere. Which is exactly where the mind can't follow. Right now, as this is being said, there's consciousness happening, thoughts moving, maybe resistance, maybe recognition. Who is aware of this? Don't answer. Just look. Is there someone there being aware? Or is consciousness just happening with no one claiming it? Notice if there's effort in the noticing, if there's someone maintaining the attention. And if there is, can you see that even this maintainer is just another movement, another thought pretending to be outside the thinking? There's a sensation in your chest now, maybe tightness, maybe openness, maybe nothing you can name. Who feels it? Stay here, not because it's a practice, because there's nowhere else to actually be. Robert Adams would say, "You created this world. The only way to wake up is through silence, but not the silence you make, not the stillness you cultivate through better techniques, stronger discipline, the silence that's already here, underneath the noise of trying to be silent." Most people hear this and immediately start working toward it, practicing silence, trying to be still. But that effort, that reaching for stillness, is itself the disturbance. The pursuer of silence is the noise. He says, abandon thought, abandon the mind, abandon everything. But abandonment doesn't happen through effort. It happens when you see there's no one there to abandon anything. There's a moment, maybe now, where all strategies stop working, where you see that the spiritual self, the one trying not to react, trying to stay present, is just the same seeking, wearing different clothes. What tries to transcend suffering is made of the same material as the suffering, and in that seeing, something falls away, not because you released it, but because you saw through what was trying to release. Robert Adams says, when you follow the personal I to its source, it becomes the universal I, which is consciousness itself. But you don't follow it by trying. There's no one there to follow anything. The personal I, the one who reacts, the one who tries not to react. Same movement. When this is seen completely, it dissolves, not into peace, into nothing, into no one. What remains isn't someone who's finally calm, just calm, no owner. Adams says, if you truly listen, everything you're doing continues, but you'll feel happier than you've ever been, because you'll see none of it matters, and there's no one actually doing any of it. The doing continues. The reacting might continue, but there's no one taking credit, no one exhausted by the effort of being someone. What if the peace you've been cultivating is what's blocking the peace that's already here? What if every attempt not to react is just another reaction, and the freedom you're seeking isn't at the end of this cycle, it's in seeing there was never a cycle? Robert Adams kept it simple. The fastest way is to be still. But you can't be still through effort. Stillness happens when you see there's no one there to be still, no one to not react, no one to be aware. Just this, no owner. What feels like awareness might still be effort, and when even that's seen, nothing's left. Not emptiness you achieved, just what was always here, belonging to no one. The reactivity you've been trying to transcend was never yours. It was just happening. And the one trying not to react, also just happening. Both waves in the same water, pretending to be separate. When that's seen, not understood, seen, the water becomes still, because there was never anyone there disturbing it in the first place. These contemplations continue here, different angles of the same seeing. If this touches something true, there's more.